Hi everyone, our extracting process is now complete, and here's part of the supers that have been extracted, cleaned out with the bees, and they're ready to go into storage for winter. So right there's what the combs look like after the bees are cleaned up. These was uncapped with a Simple Harmony Farms uncapper, so it leaves them relatively undamaged. That's a dark comb, obviously, where a brood was raised through at least part of the year. And here's a lighter comb. These combs are in great condition, and I'll reuse these next year. And then right here's the next section. This is the last group of supers we extracted of the last two pulls. So I got 4 deeps. Right there's a super of frames that got damaged, or some of the plastic frames where the tabs just broke off, and back in there you can see some more. So I bought several hundred of them probably about 8 or 10 years ago, and I lose about 10 or 15 of them every year. The ears, the end of where it sits on the frame, as you can see, like on that one, they're breaking off. I haven't bought none in recent years, but apparently they've improved that. I'm not sure. This is how I stack my supers up, let the bees clean them out. They've been out here a few days. I've noticed since I've been using the Simple Harmony Farm uncapper that when I put them out, a lot of the wax cappings are left on the ground. And as you can see right here, I simply took the boards that I keep them covered up with and attached the 2x4s to. I just flipped them upside down and stacked the supers on top. And I've caught a lot of the cappings under there. And in a moment, we're fixing to put all this in our shed and get the crystals on them for winter, for use for next spring. And this is kind of the arrangement how we store them for winter. This year I've acquired some pallets, and I'm going to put 4 stacks on each pallet. And I also got a pallet jack that will give me more mobility if I need to move out, several at a time. I can do it with a pallet jack. So I stack them 7 high, and I have these 1.5-inch spacers. These were some supers that we built out of spec a few years ago, meaning the frames would not fit. We didn't check them, so rather than throw them away, I just cut them down and made these spacers out of them. And I put paper plates in here. And each plate will get about 1/2 cup of paramoth crystals, and I'll set a reminder on my phone, and I'll check them once a month. I'll put 1/2 cup every month on here. They'll be gone, but as the weather cools down, sometime right around Thanksgiving, I'll put 1/2 cup, and that will get the supers the rest of the way through winter, and I will not have to put any more on until the following July or August, once we pull supers again. So that basically will be 4 applications that I'll have to put on here. So these are the wax moth crystals that I use. I pick these up at Walmart throughout the year and keep them in storage. And I use a measuring cup. I measure the 1/2 cup in here. It makes it a lot easier than just pour it out in here. Paper plates hold up good. Then we set these tops up there, and then I'll put 6-inch concrete blocks up here. And that way it kind of pushes it all down and keeps it together. That's the way I've been doing it, and has worked pretty good for me. It does take a little bit of effort coming down here once a month, but it's not a big deal. And in the future I may look at different ways of doing this in case I'm not able to get enough crystals to keep them protected in that manner. So I've seen other ways of doing it, and I may look into trying some of those in the future. Right now I'm going with what I know. I've got a very good inventory of drawn out combs, and these are, next to the bees themselves, these are the most valuable asset I have in my beekeeping operation, is these drawn combs, and it allows me to get the huge amounts of honey that I do per colony. So here's what it looks like. I've dosed each plate with 1/2 cup of the paramoth crystals. Something I didn't mention a moment ago, a lot of times on the shelf these are stacked right next to actual mothballs, so there's a distinct difference in them. Be sure that you get the moth house crystals. The active ingredient will be para-dichlorobenzene, but where it says active ingredients at the end of my fingernail, or my finger, it has P-dichlorobenzene, so they leave the ARA out. But just be sure it says that active ingredient, para-dichlorobenzene. That's really, really important. Supposedly the actual mothballs are toxic I don't know. I've never tried it, so, and I won't. This is the recommended way, but it is cheaper to buy these this way rather than through the bee catalogs, about probably half the price. Also, one of our state bee inspectors, he says he will get the toilet bowl cleaners that are one big crystal and use one per stack of supers, and he said that works good for him. That's something I've not tried. I may try that on a stack or two at some point. This product here is what I've been using for 15 years, and it's never failed me. So I've got all the supers put away now, and as you can see, we've been hit by a surprise thunder shower. But after the supers removed, we have lots of cappings that are captured there. Some of it spilled off the side, but you can see I got quite a bit here. And here's what I got off the first group. It's probably a 5-gallon bucket or more in there, but it's about the consistency. It reminds me a lot of oatmeal. We had to put on our bee jackets out here. There was a tremendous amount of bumblebees in there. I actually got stung by bumblebees 3 times. My daughter got stung once, and after I put them on, I probably had at least 5 tried to sting me in the face, and they just fly to your screen and stay there. The rain's kind of made it real sticky. Most of it would fall off if it was dry, but we probably just got a 1/2 inch of rain. This will be okay. I'll be running this down within the next couple weeks. I'm going to use all this to recoat some of my foundations and coat some brand new foundations that I did not have the heavy wax applied to. But the wax right there is about a 1/2 inch deep, and we've lost a little bit on the ground, but not much. So we cleared off all the boards, and that's a 18-gallon tote, I believe. So we probably got 9-10 gallons of cappings there. That's cappings I would have lost if I hadn't done this. So that'll definitely render out pretty nice, I think. This is the next day. The rain was relentless, pretty loud in here, so I elected to wait till the day to finish the video. But we got all the supers put away. These are all drawn combs, and these will stay in here till middle of March next year, or at least about the 10th of March. So we have 174 mediums in here and 4 deeps. All these are drawn combs. The 4 deeps I'll utilize next spring. Should be able to make, with the nukes I have out there, I should be able to make at least 8 10 frame colonies. I also separated the partials, and I'll keep those in another building, and those will go on immediately after I put all these back on next spring. That's basically a wrap. We're transitioning to bottling and honeybee health for next year. So I just wanted to show you how I gathered up some extra cappings this year. Also, once again, how I'll store my supers over the winter. Well, appreciate you for joining me for this video today. We'll catch you on the next one.